Hello, good morning everyone. This is Algin H. Calipes, and today I will be reporting on the Philippine agriculture during pre-colonial period, Spanish era, and also the development and beginnings of our Philippine agriculture. So let us start discussing on the Philippine agriculture during pre-colonial period. When we say of pre-colonial, it refers to the time wherein there is no existence of colonization that takes place. So, what are the practices of our ancestors during those times? First is shifting cultivation. What does shifting cultivation means? It is a kind of farming system back then wherein our ancestors cultivates the land temporarily for 2 or 3 seasons. Then they abandon the land when they think it was overused or exhausted, or the soil gets out of fertility. So from the word itself, shift, lilipat na naman sa ibang i-cultivate na land para magtanim ng crops ang ating mga ninuno noon. Then the next one is kaingin. And we are very familiar of this kind of practice because it is a Filipino word that in English it means slashing and burning of the field before planting. So our ancestors relied mostly on those kinds of practices because animal drawn farm equipment are not known during that time. So wala pa yung mga equipment gaya ng plow, yung mga ginagamit natin na mga tools ngayon. So, doon na lang sila sa pagsusunog ng kagubatan para mataniman. Yun yung practice na ginagamit ng ating ninuno noon. And the staple crops that are planted in kaingin system during pre-colonial period are rice, millet, which is a form of cereal grains, bananas, and root crops such as taro and yam. So, during pre-colonial time, rice is highly valued by our ancestors. So, what was the main reason bakit napaka-importante ng rice noong panahon na iyon? Dahil, it is because our ancestors used rice as the main offerings during their ritual practices. And rice is very special because it is serve on special occasions. So, since rice is essential during our ancestral times, it is also believed that rice production on rice terraces have begun 2,000 years ago on the mountain province. We are all familiar of these rice terraces because it was built by Igorot people hand by hand, and it becomes the representation of the early human innovations. So that was all the system that are used by our ancestors during pre-colonial period. The important key points are shifting cultivation, kaingin system, rice is highly valued during that time, and also the building of Banawi rice terraces in Mountain Province. So now let's move forward to the Philippine agriculture during Spanish era. So when the Spanish era took place? Well, it took place during the year 1565 up to 1898. So what was the state of agriculture during this time? Transition from shifting cultivation was slow until the 1800s. So, bakit nahihina na yung shifting cultivation practices ng ating ancestors ng panahon at sakupin na tayo ng Espanyol? It is because there is an introduction of plow technology. So when we say of plow technology, ito na yung, meron na yung, kasi dito din, nag-start na rin yung domestication ng Philippine Carabao natin. So, meron ng plow, meron Carabao. So, yung human force na ginagamit ng ating ancestor during pre-colonial period is slowly fading because of the plow technology, which has become the new farming system of Filipinos. Also, the growth of plantation crops such as tobacco, sugarcane, and abaca were observable during this time. So, nadagdagan na yung crops ng ating country noon from starting from rice, bananas, and root crops. Meron na ring tobacco, sugarcane, and abaca na nadagdag. And abaca during those times is considered the best material for ropes and cordages in 1800s. Also, the agriculture on Spanish era has developed because there is a process of trade between Chinese and the Spaniards that has took place on Manila. Manila became the important trade network during the time. So, also, Chinese mestizos inland, particularly in Central Luzon, enlist them to cultivators, and a portion of the rent were paid to Spanish friars. Then, beginning 1850, the sugar was the Philippines' most important export, and Philippine cigars were popular throughout Victorian parlors in Britain, the European continent, and North America. So, yun yung itsura ng agriculture naman natin noong Spanish time. From the transition of shifting cultivation and then introduction of plow technology, tapos domestication of Philippine Carabao, and then growth of plantation crops such as tobacco, sugarcane, and abaca, and also the beginning of trading system. So madami na yung nadagdag at nagka-improve sa ating agrikultura noong panahong Espanyol. And now, let's move forward to the last part of the discussion about the beginning and development of Department of Agriculture of the Philippines. So what are the important events that has took place and became very important as of today's agriculture? So starting from June 12, 1898, which was also the proclamation of the Philippine independence by the first President Emilio Aguinaldo, is also the formation of the Department of Agriculture or DA as one of the first agencies in the Philippines. And there are three directors that govern the Department of Agriculture. Who are those? They are Jose Alejandrino Graciano Gonzaga and Leon Maria Guerrero. And after that, the DA was renamed in the Department of Agriculture and Natural Resources or DANR in the year 1947 under DANR Secretary Salvador Araneta. And during the year 1953 to 1955, there are major agencies that were created under the DA. First is Agricultural Tenancy Commission. Second one is Philippine Tobacco Administration. And the third one is Philippine Coconut Administration. So those were the major agencies under Department of Agriculture. And lastly, year 1961, the Abaca Development Board was created under Cesar Fortich as DA and our chief. So that was the total discussion of my report for this morning. I hope everyone could get the important idea of Philippine agriculture during pre-colonial period, Spanish period, and also the development of our Department of Agriculture. Thank you everyone and good day.